Well, good evening, everyone. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. My name is Marivel Taruk, the host of CBC's Hour Toronto and CBC Weekend News, and I am so honored to be your host for this evening. To our participants in this Zoom virtual event, those watching on our YouTube live stream across all 13 provinces and territories of Canada, fellow Canadians, kababayan, and friends of the Filipino community, and all Filipinos, in fact, worldwide who are tuned in to us through the power of technology. Good evening, and thank you all for being part of this inauguration tonight. To begin, to ask for blessings for this evening's event, let's welcome Pastor John Bartolome from Jesus Christ, Our Messiah Fellowship International Canada in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Pastor.
It's so important that before we do anything or before we start our day, it's so important that we start everything with a prayer so that everything that we will do will be guided by our Heavenly Father. Can I ask everybody to please bow down your heads and close your eyes? Father, praise you for this event and for your purpose for it. We know that when we gather together, you always have a divine agenda, and we love you for that. That even when we have done what you have asked, the results are so much greater than we ever could have imagined. Even in failed attempts, you blow us away with your faithfulness to provide what we need. Our prayer today is that your will be done through this event. Take what we have prepared and multiply our efforts as only you can. Steer our intentions to align with your righteous will. Remind us of your faithful provision when our efforts fail us or fall short. May all glory go up to you when we reach the finish line and climb over benchmarks. Father, blanket us with your peace today. Keep us physically safe, guard our hearts and minds from pride and selfishness. Keep love at the forefront of our minds today and the guiding light for all we set out to accomplish and celebrate. We ask all of these in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus Christ, and all of God's people said, Amen. Well, God bless everybody. You have a great day. Bye.
Many thanks for that blessing, Pastor. Now to sing O Canada. He is the 14-year-old pride of the Filipino community in Ontario, a grade 9 French immersion student from Holland Landing. He performed on concert stages across North America for 2 years as part of Canada's #1 music brand, the Mini Pops Kids, and has a show coming up on February 27th, which is streaming on livecity.tv. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Peyton Garcia.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, and all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Et ta valeur, deux fois trompée, protégera nos foyers et nos droits. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you so much, Peyton. And now to sing the Philippines' Lupang Hinirang is another young Filipino Canadian who is the pride of our community. She's an R&B singer-songwriter with international hit singles. She's a Joey Awards winner and was recently named Female Artist of the Year at the Fraser Valley Music Awards in British Columbia. Let's welcome Gleisha.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tunyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulubig, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagninig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwal, hatid pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Beautiful singing, Gleisha. Thank you so much for that. And now we would like to call on the Secretary of the Filipino Canadian National Congress. She holds the distinction of being the only teacher immigrant in Alberta to be given an outright license to teach when she was new to Canada without having to go back to university. In 2004, she was awarded the Best Teacher of the American International School in Alberta. She also earned the recognition of being one of the top 10 Alberta women entrepreneurs, and most recently, a Golden Balangay Award in Business. She's also one of the recipients of the Filipino Champions of Canada, holds a Doctor of Philosophy, and is currently pursuing a law degree. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Virginia Sumalinog from Edmonton, Alberta.
Get my We would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are in Canada, the land of 8 provinces and 3 territories of the many First Nations, Métis, Inuits, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose footsteps have marked this land for generations and whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. We recognize the land of Canada as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose provinces and territories we reside. Thank you.
Thank you for that land acknowledgement, Virginia. Well, now we would like to acknowledge tonight's distinguished guests, and the Filipino Canadian National Congress is honored to have them here with us tonight. Now, our technicians will do their best to find you among the many screens, which we're lucky to be sharing tonight. But in the event that we can't find you right away, if you could just wave or raise your hand or something so that we'll be able to spot you and put your screen up for all to see. We are going to begin with the honorary members of the Advisory Council of the FCNC. Mr. Kevin Lamoureux, MP for Winnipeg North and Chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group. Next, we have Ms. Leah Gazan, MP for Winnipeg Centre, Vice Chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group. And we are also honored to have here with us tonight from the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa, the Ambassador of the Philippines, His Excellency Rodolfo Robles. We also have this evening joining us the Honorable Maria Andrelita S. Austria, Consul General for BC, Yukon, and North Territories. As well tonight, we want to welcome the Honorable Orontes Castro, Consul General for Ontario and Manitoba. And also this evening joining us, Mr. Ronaldo V. Opina, Consul for Manitoba. And next we have Ms. Consuelo Lacson, Consul for Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. And next we have Ms. Liv de Guzman, Vice Consul, Alberta and Saskatchewan. We are also delighted tonight to have many members of Parliament from different ridings all over the country gracing us with their presence tonight. First off, we have the Honorable Larry Bagnell, MP for Yukon. And next we have Mr. Suk Dhaliwal, MP for Surrey Newton in BC.
Salamat.
Nice. And next we've got Ms. Karen McCrimmon, MP for Canada Carleton in Ontario. Mr. Ken Hardy, MP for Fleetwood Port Kells out in BC. And then we have Mr. Randeep Sarai, MP for Surrey Centre, also in BC.
Mabuhay, everyone.
And of course, the author of the motion which officially declared June as Filipino Heritage Month in Canada, Ms. Salma Zahid, MP for Scarborough Centre in Ontario.
Salamat.
I want to also recognize more members of Parliament we have joining us tonight. The Honourable Tim Uppal, MP for Edmonton Mill Woods, Alberta. And we also have Mr. Garnet Jennis, MP for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan. Next, we have Ms. Raquel Dancho, MP for Kildonan St. Paul in Manitoba. Also with us, Mr. Brad Redekop, MP for Saskatoon West. Also, we have Mr. Don Davies, MP, Vancouver Kingsway.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat, everybody.
Nailed it, Don. We've also got Mr. Anthony Housefather, MP for Mount Royal in Montreal, who sent his representative tonight, Mr. Sonny Moros, Constituency Coordinator and Outreach.
I'm back. My computer froze just now.
Good to have you back. Okay, also sharing some time with us on this remarkable evening are some of the elected officials of Filipino descent. First ever from the Filipino community to be elected to the BC Legislative Assembly, Mabel Elmore, MLA for Vancouver Kensington.
Mabuhay! Congratulations, everybody. Very exciting.
Thank you. We also have Ms. Malaya Marcelino, MLA for Notre Dame in Winnipeg. And then we have Ms. Jocelyn Curtianu, City Councilor for the City of Whitehorse.
Mabuhay! Good evening, everybody.
And then we have Ms. Rowena Santos, the first ever Filipino elected to the City of Brampton City Council.
Mabuhay, everyone. Congratulations.
As well, we've got two very special guests this evening, and FCNC is thrilled that they're able to join us. The first and only Filipino Canadian to become a member of Parliament, former Federal Minister, Dr. Ray Pagtakhan. Joining us tonight as well from St. Paul, Manitoba. So good evening to you, Dr. Ray. Also joining us from Winnipeg is the first Filipino to become interim leader of a provincial political party and the first racialized woman ever elected to the Manitoba Legislative Assembly, Ms. Flor Marcelino. We've got so many amazing guests joining us from right across the country, which is probably the best thing about doing virtual events is that you get to connect with so many people that if we were to do this in person, we wouldn't be able to. So there is one blessing in all of this, and that's to get to see all of the screens and all of these wonderful people and faces joining us tonight. Now, to introduce the Filipino Canadian National Congress to all of us, I'd like to call on a woman who's been recognized for her passionate commitment to leadership and for her valuable role in the Filipino Canadian heritage community in Winnipeg, which is home to about 80,000 Filipinos. That's where my family first called home to when we left the Philippines. Under her leadership, the Manitoba Association of Filipino Teachers Incorporated earned the Kultura Award by the Philippine Heritage Council of Manitoba. She is the current president of that association and has been elected second vice president of the Filipino Canadian National Congress, Mrs. Jenilyn Asaron Tan.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor and a great privilege to welcome you all tonight. These two momentous events, the launching of the Filipino Canadian National Congress and the induction of officers and board of directors, are extremely special and important as 13 Filipino Canadian leaders from different provinces and territories who have shared their common goals are gathered here tonight to unfold their missions and visions for the service of humanity. We are also grateful to the key persons, MP Mr. Kevin Lamoureux, Honorable MP Alice Wong, the Senator Honorable Mary Lou McPhedran, and MP Ms. Leia Gazan, who have made it possible for this dream to become a reality. Many of us, including myself, have been dreaming to have a formalized group for the Filipino Canadian voice to the governments of Canada. We have been hoping that one day it will happen. And now the wait is over because tonight is day one. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud and happy to share with you the mission and vision of the Filipino Canadian National Congress. FCNC is a duly registered national not-for-profit organization affiliated with the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Group and is mandated to represent the strong Filipino presence in Canada before the people and the governments of Canada. The FCNC coordinates and represents the concerns and interests of nearly 1 million voices within the Filipino Canadian communities and advocates to doing our active share in shaping Canada's social, economic, political, and environmental perspectives. FCNC's missions are to strengthen the Filipino Canadian community by promoting and encouraging connections between various organizations across the country, to promote, develop, and preserve the rich Filipino cultural heritage and values, to help address the needs and requirements of the Filipino Canadian community, to bring awareness to some issues of Canadians and concerns in the Philippines which also might affect some Filipino Canadians, to develop and enhance the Filipino Canadian community's leadership and relevance in the intercultural society of Canada. FCNC aims to be a dynamic, united, integrated, and independent organization that provides a high standard of leadership in developing, promoting, and empowering the identity, responsibilities, and roles of Filipinos diaspora in Canada. I wish everyone a great evening and thank you for participating in this milestone. Thank you and God bless all. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Jenilyn. I also wanted to add a special welcome to a couple more very important guests and who were very valuable in making this the FCNC happen and this evening happen tonight. Alice Wong, I'd like to acknowledge you tonight. And another important person to this process we need to acknowledge as well is Senator Mary Lou McPhedran. Many thanks for all that you did. Tonight as well, we are joined by many members of the media from the Filipino Canadian community, something which I am biased to say I'm really proud of and we should all be proud of. So again, if you could give us a wave so that we could spot you and put up your screen tonight, that would be great. We're going to begin with the network and national media members. Teresa Barrera from Omni TV, Omni Filipino News. We also have Rosary Escano from the Filipino channel, TFC Canada. Next, we have Rowena Papasin from Balitang America, ABS-CBN News. Let's go through provinces now. From Alberta, Marjorie Newman from Balitang America. And we also have June Angeles, publisher, Alberta Filipino Journal.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you. And next we have Lito Velasco, editor-in-chief, associate publisher. There you are. And next we have Abel Bagaling, host FCM, Canada's multicultural media. Why don't we go to Eric Cordero, who's the host of FCM, Canada's multicultural media.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations.
Now let's move on to our media colleagues in BC. Louisa Marshall, who is the host of Simply the Best, the Louisa Marshall Show on Shaw TV.
Hello, everyone. All the best.
Next, we have Irene Yatko, who's the editor and publisher of the Philippine Journal, Vancouver. Now we're going to move on to Manitoba. And it's so nice to see Mr. Rodolfo Cantiveros, the publisher of the Filipino Journal in Winnipeg, among many other things. Next, we have Chris Ontong, who's the co-founder of barangaycanada.com.
Mabuhay!
And the newest member of CBC Manitoba, Faith Fundal, who's the host of CBC Manitoba's Up to Speed. Now from Filipino Portal in Manitoba, we have Jonas Miguel. Jonas says, sorry, no video. He's using it for his live stream. Okay, thanks, Jonas. And from CKJS in Winnipeg, Chester Pangan, Donna Arenas. Now we're going to move on to Nova Scotia. Alan Landigan, Settle East Coast Filipino Portal. Joey Moreno, when in Halifax. And now to my colleagues who are here in Ontario. Rose Tiham from Philippine Press Club of Ontario. Joey Salvador, who's the host of It's Just Another Ordinary Joe.
Hello, everyone. I don't have my camera on, but congratulations to everyone. I'm using it for our live stream.
Thanks, Joey. Next, we have Ms. Regina Sosing, founder and host, Tinig Pinoy, out of Ottawa. Lee Aaron, who's a blogger and radio host at MCBN Media. And out of Quebec, we have Tene Rose Diadente with Pinoy Pa Rin. And then Jacob Jala, who's the host of Pinoy Talk on Access Now TV.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations.
We also want to make a very special acknowledgement for tonight, as per the FCNC leadership, in appreciation for her help as tonight's Zoom host and technician. Side by side with her beloved husband, FCNC's Ronnie De La Gana, we have Ms. Claire De La Gana, who's the managing editor of Kubo magazine. Claire's doing all the technical hard work for us tonight. Well, and now I would like to introduce the FCNC directors so that we can all meet them and hear a little bit more about them tonight, as we are to witness the virtual oath-taking ceremony of the 13 members of the executive officers and the board of directors of FCNC. We're going to quickly introduce them to you one by one, but before them, there are two very significant parts of the FCNC leadership, and these two are actually part of the advisory council. The FCNC legal advisor is Mr. Antonio Villarin, barrister and solicitor from AMV Law Professional Corporation, the office in North York, Ontario.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay po. And then the FCNC accountant is Ms. Arlene Evangelista, CPA, CGA from Palmer Badger Chartered Professional Accountants in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Now we will proceed with the board of directors. First, from Alberta, Mr. Jerry Kainkoy. He is the president and founder of the Filipino Champions of Canada, TFCC, and is based in Calgary. He is from Biliran province in the Philippines and works as a team leader at the city of Calgary. Jerry is the chair of the Labor, Employment and Skills Training Committee of FCNC. And Jerry would like to thank the presence of Miss Liv de Guzman, Vice Consul in Alberta and Saskatchewan, for witnessing his induction to FCNC. Next, we have Mrs. Virginia Sumalinog. She is the Vice President of the Philippine Business Society of Alberta, based in Edmonton. She hails from Cebu in the Philippines and is a licensed Alberta school teacher at the Edmonton Catholic School Board. She holds a PhD and is currently pursuing her law degree in Alberta. Virginia is the chair of the Education and Professional Training Committee of FCNC and was also elected secretary of the FCNC. Then Virginia would like to thank the presence of her MP in Edmonton Hills, the Honorable Tim Opal, for witnessing her induction. Next, from British Columbia, Narima de la Cruz. Narima is the president and founder of Surrey Philippine Independence Day Society, SPIDS. She is from Quezon Province in the Philippines and is a court interpreter and a licensed realtor in BC. Narima is the chair for the Philippines and International Relations Committee of FCNC and is also the elected president of FCNC. And Narima would like to thank the presence of her very supportive MPs in Surrey, Ken Hardy, Randeep Sarai, and Sukh Dhaliwal for witnessing her induction. And she would also like to recognize the support of MP Salma Zahid from Scarborough Centre. Narima and her SPIDS team worked in 2018 with both MP Sarai and MP Zahid on the petition for the declaration of June as Filipino Heritage Month in Canada. Next, we have Trini Lopez. Trini is the chair and founder of Global Pinoy Diaspora Canada, based in Vancouver. She's from Manila in the Philippines and is a retired registered nurse from Royal Columbian Hospital. Trini is the chair for the Tourism and Environment Committee of FCNC, and she would like to thank the presence of MP Don Davies from Vancouver Kingsway and MLA Mabel Elmore from Vancouver Kensington for witnessing her induction. Both Trini and Narima would also like to thank the Honorable Alice Wong of Richmond Center and Consul General Maria Andrelita Austria for witnessing their induction into FCNC. Now to Manitoba. Jenilyn Ansaran-Tan. She is the president of the Manitoba Association of Filipino Teachers Incorporated, or MAFTI. She is from Lucena City in Quezon Province in the Philippines and works as a Filipino language proficiency examiner and coordinator in the Winnipeg School Division. Jenilyn is the chair for the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee of FCNC and is also elected second vice chair of FCNC. Jenilyn's MP is Mr. Kevin Lamoureux, and she would also like to thank the presence of MLA Malaya Marcelino for witnessing her induction. Next is Mary Jane Napolitano. She is the PRO of Manitoba Association of Filipino Teachers Incorporated. She's from Taguig City in Philippines and obtained her Bachelor in Education major in English minor in History at the University of Winnipeg. She currently teaches at Dufferin School. Mary Jane is the chair of the Finance and Fundraising Committee of FCNC and is also one of the elected treasurers. Mary Jane would also like to thank the presence of MP Raquel Dancho from Kildonan St. Paul for witnessing her induction. Both Mary Jane and Jenilyn would like to thank Senator Mary Lou McPhedran, MP Leah Gazan, as well as Dr. Ray Pagtakan, Ms. Flor Marcelino, and Consul Ronaldo Opina for witnessing the induction ceremony of FCNC. To New Brunswick we go now. Gina Moreno. Gina is the president of the Filipino community of New Brunswick. She originated from Quezon province in the Philippines, but was raised and grew up in Winnipeg. She graduated from Herzing Institute and is a member of the Canadian Society of Customs Brokers in Ottawa. She currently works as a customs broker specialist. Gina is the chair of Immigrants and TFW's Committee of FCNC. From Nova Scotia, Jake Salcedo. Jake is the president of the Philippine Association of Nova Scotia. Fans, I like that. He hails from Surala, South Cotabato in the Philippines and currently works as business intelligence developer at IWK Health Center in Halifax. Jake is the chair of the Youth and Internship Committee of FCNC and is also one of the elected treasurers. Jake and Gina from New Brunswick would like to thank the presence of Ms. Consuelo Lacson, Consul for Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, for witnessing their induction to FCNC. Now to Ontario. Eddie Villarta. Eddie is IT advisor and former executive director of the Philippine Center Canada. He is from Angat, Bulacan, and is a graduate of Master of Engineering at Carleton University in Ottawa. He also works at Carleton University as a network services manager. Eddie is the chair for Technology and Advanced Education Committee of FCNC, and he would like to thank the presence of Ambassador Rodolfo Robles for witnessing his induction and that of the FCNC Board of Directors. He would also like to thank his MP for Canada Carleton, Ms. Karen McCrimmon, for gracing tonight's event. Ronnie Delagana. He is the co-founder of Golden Balangay Awards and the publisher of Kubo magazine. He is from the Bicol region in Camarines Sur in the Philippines and is an engineering graduate and practicing IT professional. Ronnie is the chair for Membership and Development Committee of FCNC and is the elected first vice president. Ronnie would like to thank the presence of MP Garnet Genius from Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan, who was sent on the behalf of the Honorable Aaron O'Toole, who is Ronnie's MP in Durham, Ontario. Ronnie would also like to thank Councillor Rowena Santos of Brampton for witnessing his induction to FCNC. Both Ronnie and Eddie would like to thank Consul General Oronets Castro for attending tonight's event. And from Quebec, Mary Grace Diocampo Goldenberg. She is the president of the Filipino Nurses Association of Quebec. She's from Montalban, Rizal in the Philippines and is a registered nurse at the Montreal Neurological Hospital. Mary Grace is the chair of the Health and Safety Committee of FCNC. And she would like to thank MP Anthony Housefather of Mount Royal for sending his representative, Sonny Moros, for witnessing her induction to FCNC. From Saskatchewan, Chris Rodriguez. Chris is from the Filipino Canadian Association of Saskatchewan and is the host producer of the Chris Rod Show and the Broadcast One talk show. He is from Cebu in the Philippines and is the online radio DJ for the Rock Zone at Phoenix 63 Radio. He is the chair of the Sports and Recreation Committee of FCNC. And Chris would like to thank the presence of MP Brad Redekop of Saskatoon West for witnessing his induction into FCNC. Now from Yukon, Aurora Viernes. President, Canadian Filipino Association in the Yukon. She is from Bangar, La Union in the Philippines and works with Yukon Territorial Government for 20 years now in the Department of Health and Social Services. Aurora is the chair of Business and Trade Committee of FCNC, and she is grateful for the presence of the Honorable Larry Bagnall of Yukon and Councillor Jocelyn Curtnow for witnessing her induction into FCNC. And now, to administer the oath of office for the executive officers and board of directors of the Filipino Canadian National Congress, let's give a warm welcome to the chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group, the veteran member of Parliament from Winnipeg North, Mr. Kevin Lamoureux.
Thank you very much, Maribel, and you are doing a fabulous job, I must say, in making sure that we get through this in a rather wonderful way. Mabuhay, Ambassador Robles, colleagues, special guests, and most importantly, members of the FCNC. One of the wonderful traditions that I've witnessed over the years from the Filipino community, no matter where I go, is the idea that when you begin a group, you have a swearing-in ceremony. And what a privilege it is for me, on behalf of Alice Wong, Senator McFerrin, and Leah Gazan, the executive members of the Philippine Parliamentary Friendship Group, but also the 50 plus others, members of parliament and senators that have a special love for the relationship between Canada and the Philippines. So on behalf of the association, it's my pleasure to do the oath today. And what I'm going to do is have members repeat after me, and I'll go through line by line. And when I say, when we do the pause to fill in the blank, it's up to you whether or not you want to put your mic on or leave your mic off. I will continue, and hopefully we'll get through this in a relatively quick span so we can get on to hearing from other members. So if you will maybe raise your right hand, and for many, they like to put their other hand on their chest. You can feel free to do that depending in terms of what you might be holding in your hands. And if you'd repeat after me, I state your name.
I, Christian Rodriguez.
Having been elected as, state your position.
Having been elected as treasurer
of the Filipino Canadian National Congress.
Of the Filipino Canadian National Congress.
Representing the provincial/territory of, state your territory.
The provincial
/territory of Saskatchewan.
Manitoba.
Hereby solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities.
Hereby solemnly
swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my abilities
the duties and responsibilities of fairly representing
the duties and responsibilities of fairly representing
the Filipino heritage community to the Filipino Canadian National Congress. The Filipino heritage community to the Filipino Canadian
National Congress.
I will support and defend the Constitution and bylaws of the Congress.
I will support and defend the Constitution and bylaws of the Congress.
And I will impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily.
And I will impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily.
Without any reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any reservation or purpose of evasion.
This I pledge and do affirm, so help me God.
This pledge I do affirm, so help me God.
On behalf of the Parliamentary Friendship Group between Canada and the Philippines, let me offer our sincere congratulations to each and every one of you for taking on this such very important role. Thank you very much. Salamat po.
What a wonderful thing to witness. Thank you so much, Kevin. And now I want to give my congratulations as well to the officers and directors of FCNC, and we all look forward to seeing you bring the Filipino Canadian community to even greater heights. Now let's hear from the elected president of the Filipino Canadian National Congress, a lady who is no longer a stranger to many Canadians inside and outside the Filipino community. From the get-go, she has introduced a different kind of leadership to her community, one that does not only aim for togetherness and feasting, dinner, dancing, glamour, gathering, but also of serving, giving, sharing, representing, and inspiring. Through her many years of community service and volunteerism, she has earned the utmost respect and recognition, and she continues to make a difference. The first Filipino woman to be named to the top 25 Canadian Immigrant Awards, and the current Pinoy of the Year in Canada by the Golden Balangay Awards, and Community Champion of the Filipino Champions of Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome and congratulate Mrs. Narima de la Cruz.
Thank you, Maribel. Honorary members of the Advisory Council, the Ambassador Rodolfo Robles, members of Parliament, members of the Legislative Assembly of British Columbia and Manitoba present tonight, councilors present, other distinguished guests, members of the media, my fellow directors of FCNC, fellow Filipinos, fellow Canadians, Filipinos tuned in all over the world, friends of the Filipino community, ladies and gentlemen, mga kababayan ko, good evening. With all due respect to other monumental part of Filipino Canadian history, I do believe that tonight landed a place as one of the most promising nights in the history of Filipino diaspora in Canada. When I was new in Canada, and perhaps this is an experience that every Filipino in Canada and every immigrant, for that matter, has experienced, was that not only a sense of missiveness on that first day, but a question of what the future holds for us. There was that fear of being in a new country. But alongside that fear is that big hope of better life for oneself, for children, for family. And I'd say that aside from the love of family and the innate nature of resiliency and courage of a Filipino, the one that keeps me going was the love of fellow Filipinos, the support, the smile, the helping hand. And when I say that for the Filipino community, I believe that happens to every community in Canada. And when every community practices that, it brings success to Canada. And the beauty of our Canada also pulls us all up, all communities. And that is the beauty of a multicultural society. The diversity of ideas, opinions, culture. And it led us to tonight, at least for our community. Thank you to Kevin, MP Lamuro, for helping us found this organization. My 12 fellow directors and I took this monumental task of representing the nearly 1 million Filipinos in Canada. And we do really look forward to working, serving, representing, coordinating, and inspiring. I'd say that We also want to especially acknowledge MP Salma Sahid for giving us that great recognition when the month of June has been declared a Filipino Heritage Month. A recognition that I would like to say that my fellow Filipinos in Surrey have really worked hard for. And I would like to especially mention my SPIDS family for helping with that as well. Now with the Filipino Canadian National Congress, I know that there will be 8 words question for us. And I'm saying 8 words because that's how Filipinos speak. We always do a long sentence. We always say it in a longer sentence. And I know that that question would be, what are you going to do for me? FCNC? I don't know about my fellow directors, but for me, I will answer that with 8 words as well. And I will actually end it with the same punctuation mark. What are you going to do for us? Because you know, the strength of an endeavor, the length of a journey, and the fire in our heart, the dream of a community, and the success of an organization, it does not depend on me. It does not depend on the 13 directors and our advisors. It does not depend on the Filipino Canadian National Congress. It is on us together. Because even on our most needy situation or our strongest situation, we all help each other. We all depend on each other. We support each other. And that's the only way the Filipino Canadian National Congress will reach the conclusion of its dream. We are really looking forward to have you with us. Go through with us with this journey. And I would mention one, just for the benefit of mentioning one, because I know that with Filipinos, through the years of my experience as a volunteer and advocate, there is a common ground that is very important, number one, for Filipinos, and probably for many communities as well. And that is immigration. We all wanted to share the beauty of Canada to our family who are still left behind in our country, or our respective countries, speaking of all immigrants. And I know that we will definitely advocate for immigration. And probably I'd say it that that's the reason why we didn't invite the Honorable Minister, Marco Mendicino, because I don't want him to hear that tonight that I will be calling on his office, likely most often, and I hope we will be friends and we will not be enemies because of that. Because it's Filipinos are known, I'd say that with all modesty aside, that Filipinos are known to be good immigrants, generally at least. Pardon me if I'm tooting our own horn. But just with the healthcare workers, this pandemic times, it is very evident that the Filipino community is a big help. And since I have a limited minutes for tonight, as much as I want to talk further about what we can discuss, we just hope that you will be with us. Go to our website, go to our page, send us a message. We will be interactive, all of us. And we, as I've mentioned earlier, we will go through this together. Personally, I would just like to acknowledge the help and understanding of my family, because once again, Narima take this monumental task and other volunteer work, as my husband said. And I would just like to say my love to my children for understanding. And I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and for being with us. I thank God for always guiding me to do the right decision and leaning on to the light to always make a worthy expression of myself and the Filipino dream, bringing honor to my race. And I know that the Filipino Canadian National Council will do our utmost best to continue doing so. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Narima. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished to this point. And I know there's going to be so much more that you and FCNC together will accomplish going forward. And now we would like to go to some more inspirational words of greetings from those who have been newly inducted. To someone who they will seek advice and guidance from and to work alongside. First on our list, we are honored to have him here with us this evening from the Philippine Embassy in Ottawa, the Ambassador of the Philippines, His Excellency Rodolfo Robles.
Maraming salamat, Maribel. Thank you very much for beautifully moderating this program. Very professionally done. Our President, Narima de la Cruz, my kababayan from Quezon Province. Our Chair, MP Kevin Lemeru, a friend whom I met recently. Our First Vice President, Ms. Alice MP Alice Wong, who's been very sympathetic to the Filipino community. I would like to especially recognize MP Salma Zalik for having inaugurated the Filipino Heritage Month in Canada. Distinguished guests who have been professionally, beautifully, and smilingly introduced and recognized by Maribel. Mga kababayan, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Bonjour and good evening. I am delighted to join you tonight for this milestone event, the inauguration of the Filipino Canadian National Congress and the induction of its pioneer set of officers. I realize Filipinos have a very long history in Canada and have certainly come a long way in the last 70 years. Our kababayan from Manitoba who are here tonight would remember the early roots of the Filipino migration in the country, where we can easily recall that in the 1950s, in response to a campaign by the government of Canada to recruit skilled workers, a small group of Filipinos moved to Winnipeg to work in the garment industry. This is the reason why we often call Winnipeg ground zero of Filipino migration in Canada. Today, it remains one of the areas in the country with the largest concentrations of Filipinos, as evidenced by the number of Jollibee stores in their city. Invariably, so much has happened since then. With the continued migration of Filipinos, one may find them in all the provinces and territories these days. Statistics will show easily that the largest populations of Canadians of Filipino descent may be found in the urban centers of Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary, but we may also find them in the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and as far as Nunavut. Indeed, it is heartening to know that so many Filipinos have made Canada their home, bringing their own vibrant flavor into the multicultural fabric of their adopted country. I am really gratified to see many Filipinos excel in different industries over the decades, especially in the healthcare industry, which has been conscientiously at the forefront in the current pandemic. Since I arrived, I have been quite proud to note that Filipinos in Canada and all over the world have stepped up to this challenge, working in the front lines to help others. This is not really surprising, as Filipinos in general are community-oriented, dynamic, and active in their respective sectors. Tonight, I congratulate the founding members of the Filipino National Congress for the milestone achievement. There are many Filipino community organizations in Canada, but I believe the FCNC is the first of its kind, with a focus on policy issues and a goal to achieve nationwide membership. As you begin your work, I wish you all, in reaching out to the almost 1 million Filipinos in Canada, I wish you well. You have signed up for a very extraordinary task, and I am certain you are ready for the challenges that lie ahead. In keeping with the spirit of Bayanihan. Before I close, may I take a special additional note? I'm really surprised at the practically presence of every member of media in this country. For they have been the face, they have been the voice, they have been the attitudes, and they have been the dreams of the Filipinos here. I congratulate all of you for all your labors and pains in presenting the Filipino identity in this country. And as an additional note, may I just say a special hello to those who are present here who come from Quezon Province, where I come from. A special hello to all of you. And to close, mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat, and may the Almighty God guide us all in the days to come. Salamat po muli.
Marami po salamat to you, Ambassador Robles, for those words of inspiration tonight. And now I'd like to welcome back the chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group, someone who has been a true friend to the Filipino community for decades now, and that is MP Kevin Lamoureux, to say a few words.
Thank you, Maribel, Ambassador Robles, and President Narima, and board members. First, my task is to read the message from the Prime Minister of Canada, if I may. It is with great pleasure that I welcome everyone to the virtual induction ceremony hosted by the Filipino Canadian National Congress. This inaugural event serves as a wonderful opportunity for individuals of all backgrounds to celebrate the countless contributions that the Filipino Canadians have made and continue to make to our diverse society. Although this event is virtual, it still holds the same significance and meaning by promoting and commemorating Filipino culture. The COVID-19 pandemic has made planning and hosting events like this especially difficult. I would like to thank the dedicated organizers at the FCNC for making this occasion possible, and I wish them all the best as they represent the Filipino community in Canada. Please accept my best wishes for a successful and memorable event. That's from the Office of the Prime Minister. And I just want to add a few thoughts to the event this evening. I often hear from many of my colleagues from both sides of the House. We talk about Selma and the wonderful resolution that was debated back in late 2018, recognizing the month of June as Filipino heritage. That it doesn't matter what political party one is identified with, we recognize the true value and the many, many contributions that the Filipino Canadian heritage community has made to who we are today as a society. Recognizing that we have a growing special relationship between two great nations, Canada and Philippines. We referenced the number of 1 million. If we didn't get the coronavirus pandemic this year, we might have actually hit the 1 million mark. I truly believe that we actually have on Canadian soil 1 million people of Filipino Canadian heritage, especially if you factor in the temporary visas that are here. We are going to hit that milestone. And for individuals like Narima and Jenilyn and other board members to recognize the important role that FCNC can play in making sure that the issues that are impacting the community and decisions that are being made in Ottawa are in the best interest of all, with a focus in terms of the Filipino heritage community. I applaud your efforts. And I can tell you over the last little while, I've gotten to know Narima a little bit better. And I can tell you, Narima, you are an inspiration in terms of the way in which you embody the things that need to get done. And I agree with you in regards to the immigration. I am sure I am not alone. As I indicated earlier, over 50 plus members of Parliament, Senate members that are a part of our association, all of which would have loved the opportunity to be able to share words with you tonight, because we do have that special place in our hearts for a community that we're very passionate on. And Ambassador Robles, if I may, just to reinforce, I have always said that the heart of the Filipino community is in and can be found in the north end of Winnipeg. And statistically, I can prove that in terms of the concentration, even though some of my colleagues in BC might say BC and Toronto and so forth, but that'll be for another day. Thank you all, whether you're virtual or you're participating in the meeting. And again, congratulations to every board member tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. As a kid who grew up in the north end of Winnipeg, I cannot disagree with you at all. Once again, you are right. Also, please pass along our thanks to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for those kind words that he shared with us through you this evening. Now we would like to call on the first Vice Chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group, the Member of Parliament for Richmond Centre, the Honourable Alice Wong.
Mute. We can't hear you.
We need you to unmute.
You're muted.
Mute. You check at the bottom on your left, on the right side. Just click it.
Or maybe it's in your headphones. Do you have your headphones?
There's a microphone icon that you just need to click it. If it's red, it's muted. And if you unclick it, it'll go to, it's a microphone icon.
On the bottom left.
Well, maybe what we'll do, Alice, I hope this is okay, if you can get your mute situation sorted out. And I completely empathize. I don't know how many Zoom meetings and events I have attended where my mute was on, and it took me months to figure this out. So Alice is not alone in this. So while we wait, hopefully, Alice, you can get your mute unmuted, and we'll move on for now and call on one of the vice chairs of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group. And that is also someone who has worked well and done a lot for the Filipino Canadian community. And that is the Honorable Mary Lou McPhedran, Senator.
Mabuhay. Ambassador Robles, parliamentarians, all dignitaries, President De La Cruz, founding directors, and all members of the FCNC. I want to acknowledge that the Parliament of Canada is situated on the unsurrendered lands of Indigenous nations. And as an independent senator from Manitoba, I'm so pleased to be joining so many fine parliamentary colleagues, including my co-vice chairs, Leah Gazan, Alice Wong, of the Parliamentary Friendship Group, so ably led by my Manitoba colleague, Kevin Lamoureux. The Canadian Constitution and its entrenched Charter of Rights and Freedoms makes up the heart of our nation of Canada. And as the oath was being taken this evening, I found myself thinking of some of the connections that are made and are particularly strong, I think, for people who have multiple heritage and in some cases dual citizenship. The way in which we work to bring out the best in whatever countries we identify with and in ourselves, and thereby as global citizens, we make Canada a stronger democracy. Just before COVID hit, there were 470,000 migrant workers who had work permits for Canada. And yet, Canada and the other countries that make up the most with migrant workers has yet to sign and ratify the UN International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of all Migrant Workers and members of their families. I think I can speak for my parliamentary colleagues, one and all, to say that this is something that we understand needs to be changed. And it is something that I hope that regardless of affiliation, we can work together to try and bring this about. The last thing I want to say, because as an independent senator, one of my priorities is to work with youth and to promote youth leadership. And it has been such a pleasure to have Filipino Canadian interns with my office, and also to participate in and welcome Pinoys on Parliament, the wonderful youth that engage with us. And to all of you, all the best for the Philippine Canada National Council. And I know we all look forward to working even more closely together. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
And maraming salamat to you, Senator McPhedran. Appreciate your words tonight. Let's do a quick check-in, shall we, with the Honorable Alice Wong. Fingers crossed. I remain hopeful. We will get Alice. For now, though, we do have another voice that we need to hear from, and that is the final member of the Advisory Council of the Filipino Canadian National Council, and that is the Member of Parliament for Winnipeg Centre, Leah Gazan.
Mabuhay. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here tonight as one of the vice presidents of the Filipino Friendship Group in Ottawa. I want to first start out by thanking the pastor for his prayer starting out our event in a really good, loving way. Ambassador Rodolfo Robles, I look forward to working with you as we move forward. To Peyton Garcia, a beautiful, beautiful singing of Canada's national anthem. Gleisha, I can see why you've won awards. What a wonderful, wonderful singing of the Filipino anthem. Virginia Samalog, for your land acknowledgement. As an Indigenous person of these lands, I can't tell you how much that touched my spirit. To my good friend Geraldine Azaron Tan, who I met in MAFD, now one of the members of the Filipino Canadian National Congress, to all council representatives, to my parliamentary colleagues, to all members of legislatures, with a special mention of Flor and Malaya Marcelino, who have been instrumental in allowing me and introducing me to many people in the Filipino community. I thank you. To the very distinguished Dr. Ray Pactacan, and a very, very, very deep congratulations to all the new board members of the FCNC. I give you my congratulations. And to the new president, Normia de la Cruz, I heed your calls for immigration, specifically related to family reunification. I'm going to continue to work hard to push forward a better way forward for credentialing and for protection, as my good friend and colleague, Senator Mary Lou McPhedran mentioned, for temporary foreign and migrant workers. You, as a community, as the ambassador so eloquently put, and as the member of parliament from Winnipeg Centre, the ground zero of migration for the Filipino community, we have been blessed by your kindness during the pandemic, particularly in healthcare, in our schools, looking after our children, and in many industries, all industries and professions throughout Manitoba. And on top of that, leading acts of caring and kindness throughout, certainly my riding of Winnipeg Centre. I'm so very thankful, and it's for these reasons that I'm so very honored to bring a special message tonight from our leader of the NDP, Jagmeet Singh. So I'll read it. Dear friends, as the leader of Canada's New Democrats, I am pleased to congratulate the Filipino Canadian National Congress and the Board of Directors on the occasion of their inauguration meeting, February 18th, 2021. I wanted to thank the organizers of this milestone event for giving me the opportunity to show my heartfelt appreciation for the Filipino diaspora in Canada. Every year, thousands of Filipinos come to Canada to give their skills and energy to making Canada a prosperous and culturally rich country. Many Filipinos come to our country as temporary foreign workers to help grow our economy, often making the hard decision to leave their families behind with the hope of paving a brighter future for their children. Those who arrive with a more secure footing as permanent residents show courage in finding their way in a new country. I appreciate that many Filipinos are working on our frontline sectors during COVID-19 pandemic, in hospitals as nurses and healthcare workers, in long-term care homes as personal support workers caring for the elderly, and as workers in food processing sectors to meet the essential needs of the Canadian population. But coming and settling in Canada is not without its challenges. As the leader of the NDP, I am committed to listen to your voices, not only to recognize your valuable contributions, but also to work with you to address the pressing issues that you face in the community. be it by removing the vulnerabilities that many Filipino migrants face or supporting your aspirations to fully participate in Canadian society. New Democrats are proud of the positive relationship we continue to have with the Canadian Filipino community. We look forward to building stronger connections and working together for a more diverse and inclusive Canada. As you celebrate your new organization and look to the future, I once again extend best wishes for an inspirational and successful assembly. Warmest regards. Thank you.
And thanks very much to you, Leah, for your words of friendship with the Filipino community in Canada. And our thanks as well to the federal NDP leader, Jagmeet Singh, for that lovely greeting too. Okay, I have some good news. I hear we've got the Honorable Alice Wong online, unmuted. And so we would love to hear from you, Alice.
Thank you very much. And I think we have to say that this is a wonderful evening, except technology doesn't seem to work with me. My computer froze 2 times, but I finally managed to come back. So before I say anything, I like again to bring greetings from my leader, from the leader of the Canada's Conservatives, the Honorable Erin O'Toole. So congratulations on the launch of the Filipino Canadian National Congress. Conservatives have a long road.
I'm just trying to show a little bit of patience with technology, which we've all learned to do this year. I believe that Alice's, her connection has gone out for us. So from now until we wrap up, we're going to leave it open for Alice to come back if she's able to at any time. So I might pull a fast one and we might just switch gears right away and go directly to Alice as soon as she becomes available. And let's hope that she will. But we will move on to wrap up our evening. So for that, I'd like to call on the elected first vice president of the Filipino Canadian National Congress. He's a member of various organizations in the Greater Toronto Area, such as the Philippine Press Club, the Filipino Canadian Parents Association for Catholic Education, and Bicol Canada Community Association, just to name a few. He's also an event organizer, and some of his notable events are the Youth Leaders Summit and the Toronto Pascuhan Festival, which is considered one, if not the biggest Christmas festival for Filipinos. He is also the co-founder of the Golden Balangay Awards, a nationwide search for outstanding Filipino Canadians. He's an active volunteer both in his parish and in his community, and he and his wife Claire are the Special Events National Coordinators for the Missionary Families of Christ Canada. He is also, on top of everything else, the CEO and owner of iKubo Media, which publishes Kubo Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Ronnie Delagana.
Thank you, Maribel. Wow, it is an honor to be with you all tonight. You know, this undertaking would not have been possible with these people. Allow me to appreciate everyone. On behalf of FCNC directors, we would like to thank the Advisory Council for trusting us. Headed by MP Kevin Lamoureux, Honorable Alice Wong, Honorable Senator Marilu McPhedran, and MP Leah Gazan. You know, coming from various parts of Canada, we were quietly leading our own initiatives, communities, and our organizations. But You have taken on this bold move to encourage and inspire us to come together. At first, seems impossible, but we found some things in common. A truly devotion to serve our Filipino Canadians, the kindness and generosity to share time, talent, and treasure, and the passion to share the knowledge and our experiences we have been blessed with. I think that with that, I believe we can carry us through the huge and noble undertakings ahead of FCNC. Again, thank you for believing on us. Thank you for believing in the greatness of Filipino Canadians. To Attorney Tony Villarin, our legal advisor, and Miss Arlene Evangelista, our accountant, your role in this organization will be very vital. Maraming salamat po for joining us. And of course, to His Excellency Ambassador Rodolfo Robles, we are looking forward to future engagement with your office. Thank you po for gracing this event. And of course, Maribel Taruk, our host for this evening. As always, you have been very generous of your time. Maraming salamat. I am sure this will not be the last. For Peyton Garcia and Glecia, thank you for sharing your talent this evening. They are the future pride of our community. Take note of that. So remember their names. Pastor Jan, thank you for starting the evening with your enlightening prayer. Salamat po and God bless. And of course, to all the members in this attendance evening and in attendance this evening, supporting their constituents. Thank you for your time. We are all looking forward to working with you in our future projects. And of course, for all the elected officials of Filipino descent, whom you mentioned, Maribel, in the beginning, we are so proud of you. Thank you for your presence, and we really appreciate it. And of course, I can see Dr. Ray Pagtaghan. Dr. Ray, maraming salamat po once again for your support and believing and your for attending this event. To all our media friends in attendance tonight, thank you all for coming. All the FCNC director will be answering your questions in our Q&A sessions after this. Last but not the least, on behalf of all the FCNC director, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to our family and friends. We will not be here if not for your understanding, love, and support. Though we will conclude this historic evening, by the way, Alice is still, I think she's back. So I'm not saying that we will conclude, but for FCNC, this is just the beginning. So mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat. Thank you and God bless us all.
Maraming salamat, Ronnie, and thank you for letting us know that Alice is back. So we are going to maybe give the last word to the Honorable Alice Wong, because goodness knows, after all of these technical glitches, Alice deserves that. So over to you, Alice.
Muted. Alice, you're still muted.
Now, can you all hear me? Okay. I just read, before my computer froze, I read out my leader's letter. Did you hear that one? No. Okay, then if allow me, I would read that again. I'll briefly, read that, because otherwise it'll take up the whole evening. So, greetings from our leader, the leader of Canada's Conservatives. Congratulations on the launch of the Filipino Canadian National Congress. Conservatives have a long history of working with members of the Filipino community, a community which is vibrant and plays an important role in Canada's economy and culture. Under the previous Conservative government, Canada received more immigrants from the Philippines than from anywhere else in the world. In 2012, Prime Minister Stephen Harper appointed the late Senator Tobias Iverger Jr. as Canada's first senator of Filipino descent. I look forward to continuing to work with members of the community as we begin to rebuild our economy and focus on the COVID-19 recovery. I encourage members of the Filipino community to consider joining our team in the next election and help to elect Filipino Canadians to Parliament. I'm eager to work alongside with FCNC and wish you all the best and luck moving forward. So, thank you very much. And for my own words, I can say that I have a lot of connection with the community, Filipino community. For example, 1 in 10 residents in my city of Richmond is from the Philippines. And again, I would like also thank the healthcare workers who work so hard to look after us in this very challenging times. And my husband is an alumni of Quezon City because he studied there. But that's before we got married. You know, I was so worried that, you know, he might come back with the Filipino girlfriend. But he didn't. He still picked me because we are high school sweethearts. So anyway, on that note, I like to congratulate all the directors. And trust me, technology doesn't work, seem to work with me. But I'm very persistent. I keep trying and I'm back. So again, congratulations for a wonderful inauguration tonight and all the wonderful speeches and the blessings. And God bless you all. Thank you.
Alice, I have to say that was worth the wait. Thank you so much for being intrepid with technology tonight. And also please pass along our thanks to the Honorable Aaron O'Toole for his warm greetings for the FCNC inauguration tonight. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our evening. I just want to thank everyone across Canada and around the world, really, for joining us this evening to recognize what is really a remarkable accomplishment by our Filipino community. Everyone from the veterans and the trailblazers in Dr. Ray Pagtacan, Rod Cantiveros, the ones who are amplifying the Filipino voices in Canada decades ago and setting the stage for the accomplishments of Filipino Canadians today and Filipino Canadians in the future. So without them laying the groundwork, we would not be here. So our thanks to them. My thanks to FCNC for inviting me to be the host. I couldn't be more proud to have done it and to have shared in and to be able to share the stories of all of your amazing accomplishments. I'm excited to see what FCNC will be able to do in the future. All of this, the accomplishments of the Filipino Canadian community, I believe have helped build a better Canada and also a better world. So thank you all for joining tonight. And as Ronnie mentioned, the Filipino Canadian National Congress Board of Directors and the chair of the Canada-Philippines Parliamentary Friendship Group will be available to join media members who would like to stay for, say, about another 20 minutes or so for a Q&A session. Just to let you know, that part of the evening will no longer be live streamed, but it will be shared through various media coverage. So with that, I will say our good nights on behalf of the group. Take care, everyone. Continue to please stay safe. And my wish is for all of us to see one another again, hopefully in person someday soon.
I'm sorry.
Good night, everyone.
It looks like the ambassador
wants to speak.
Oh, Ambassador Robles.
Yes.
Of course, sir.
So
You have the floor.
Congratulations, Maribel.
Kind of a postscript. Special message to all my colleagues in the diplomatic circle, in our diplomatic circle in Canada. We are all aware, to my colleagues, we are all aware that one of the principal concerns of our mission here is to unify and improve the welfare of the Filipinos here. And this organization is one that can help us and help everybody unify the Filipinos here in Canada. So my message is, if there is anything our group can do, please do not hesitate to ring us up. And I'm actually referring to our colleagues. To begin with, it's Consul General Ron of Toronto, Mayan of Vancouver, who else? Saldi, Panjan Saldi of Calgary. We have also our Honorary Consul, Connie Lacson of Halifax, and Mr. Consul Opina of Winnipeg. Who else? They're all. And LVD Guzman, consul in one of the consuls in Calgary, who is present tonight. My message really is special to you. Please be available for all the assistance that we can extend to this very special group tonight. Thank you very much.
And maraming salamat po, Ambassador Robles, and to all of our diplomats who are representing the community throughout the country. So now you have it on record. If you get a phone call, you have to take the call. Thank you once again, everyone, for staying with us and joining us this evening. I hope you continue to show your Pinoy pride. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Maribel. Wonderful. We're proud of you.
Thank you, Tita Rod.
Yeah, I'm missing you so much.
Thank you, Maribel from Saskatchewan.
Thank you,
very much.
Maribel.
Thanks, Prairies.
Thank you.